And for more on the Republican National Convention, I'm joined by author and political commentator Laura Schwartz. She served for 8 years in the Bill Clinton White House. Laura, I know you've been in charge of several events. You've done press for them. So you've been on the other side. I want to get your reaction first to Melania Trump's speech, these allegations of plagiarism. How did they even get to prime time? And just talk to us about what might be happening behind the scenes of the campaign right now.
Well, thanks so much for having me back on, Elaine. I so enjoy your show and the worldviews it brings to CCTV America. I have to say, I had the honor of serving 8 years as President Clinton in the White House. I've been every DNC since 1996. I've been to every DNC and RNC since 2008. Now, in 2004, I was the traveling chief of staff and trip director for Teresa Heinz Kerry, then the presumptive possible first lady to John Kerry during his presidential campaign. So I've seen not only White House events from behind the scenes, but a convention from deep behind the scenes. And when it comes to the possible first lady making a speech, it's incredibly important. And that's because, Elaine, it really speaks to the spouse that is running. In this case, it was Melania speaking to her spouse, Donald J. Trump, who can oftentimes be very off-putting. And this was their attempt on the first night of the convention to maybe put him into focus as more of a human being, perhaps even a bit more presidential. And the speech was submitted to her, we're finding, just in the last few moments, about a month ago, written by two very well-respected speechwriters, actually for George W. Bush. But somehow between what was submitted to Melania and what was presented last night, all but a few sentences remained, so we're not quite sure who or how all of that Michelle Obama, all of her speech got in there. So it's sort of a mystery right now. And you know, the thing is, for the Republican National Convention to kick off their first night with controversy that has lasted not just one news cycle all day today, but will go into tomorrow because things are dripping out as we find out about them. Instead of, as I like to say, Elaine, one of the best lessons I ever learned in Washington was, if you're honest, the truth can't scare you. So if there was a mistake made, own up to it and move on. They haven't, and we're still talking about it.
You certainly are. You were in Cleveland for the convention on the floor for day one. What was the mood like there? Have you really ever seen anything quite like what we're watching?
It's so interesting, Elaine, because it's very subdued, quite honestly. Now, tonight, a lot of roars, a lot of cheers, all of the delegations representing all of the states and the territories of the United States of America get to stand up at a microphone and talk about their state and cast their vote. So it's a very exciting night tonight. Yesterday, it just seemed a lot more subdued. There weren't all that many protests. There were some religious groups and some folks dressed up as nuns on stilts representing PETA, trying to ask you to eat meatless. But there wasn't a lot of action going on. There also wasn't that same level of excitement. That's something I'll be looking for after Donald Trump Jr. speaks tonight. And of course, after Donald Trump himself speaks, because you see, he's been the presumptive nominee for quite a while. And the unification of the party takes place during that time, so that the convention is a celebration of American democracy and a celebration of the person nominated for president and vice president of the United States.
So Laura,
and I have to say, it really seemed like they're just starting to kind of unify now.
So Laura, we have about 15 seconds left. What do they need to do in the next day or two to get the message across to the American people and to the world?
They really, they need to have message strategy. It's got to be hard on how he's going to make America great again and include policy. Everyone up there should mention his name and mention how his policies will make America great again.
All right, Laura Schwartz, as always, we appreciate your insight from Chicago. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Elaine.